This video is sponsored by War Thunder. I am 30 years old. And so is Pokemon. That's right, as of 2026, the Pokemon franchise has existed for 3 whole decades. And since I was a kid during the whole Pokemania thing, I never really had a chance. Before I was a fan of Transformers, or Halo, or hell, even Mario, there was Pokemon. This was the very first thing I was ever obsessed with. I didn't even play the games at first, I just knew the anime. 4-year-old me watched The Great Race and Pikachu Party like 300 times on VHS. Wasn't until later that I got a Game Boy Advance. Got Pokemon Emerald. Why am I saying all this? Who cares? Well, ever since I was a kid, I wondered what it would be like if there was a live-action Pokemon movie. Yes, really. I remember being 12 years old and imagining Pokemon getting the same treatment as Bayformers. Like Palkia and Dialga destroying cities or something. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing to say out loud. And the thing is, even though I have moved away from that wish, I still always had it in the back of my mind how this whole live-action thing could even work. And then in 2018, we got our answer. What if Pikachu was Ryan Reynolds? Also, he's a detective.
Or I will electrocute you.
Detective Pikachu, oh boy. I remember when the internet was going crazy over the initial trailer. Now it's been years. 7 years, in fact. Oh my god, and I haven't seen anyone bring up this movie in ages. Neb on Twitter posted this one gif, and it was the most relevant this movie had been in almost a decade.
Pika Pika Pika, he's adorable.
You're adorable. They can't understand me, kid.
It's kind of surreal looking back on now. A live-action Pokemon movie came out, and then just nothing happened. I expected this was the start of something big, but there wasn't even a sequel. Bayformers was able to milk it for 7 movies. This only got 1. I never see anyone bring it up. There are no moments ever posted, no cultural impact left, even within the Western Pokemon fanbase, which is just wild, right? Like, people get latched onto anything in this franchise. Cards, games, the anime, but nobody latched onto the big budget movie. It just faded away. I find that fascinating. The movie that kid me dreamed about technically came out, and I often forget that it exists.
And secondly, get me the hell out of here!
Okay, so Pokemon fight each other. These silly creatures knock each other's health down, then they get revived. Cool. As a lifelong Pokemon fan, I get it. It's very annoying when people overthink that. Like, this is just a video game mechanic. When Red and Blue released, the games looked like this. In the lore, Pokemon fighting is kind of like MMA. It's a sport or something. Fighting does hurt, sure, but Pokemon are resilient, and they heal fast. It's one of those things that if you've grown up on Pokemon, you just get it. But there are people that didn't grow up with Pokemon, and they interpreted the whole fighting thing in a much different way. Obviously, Pokemon fighting is not like the other type of fighting, and even suggesting that it might be is one of those eye-rolling discussions you've heard time and time again. I get it. But at the same time, how do you translate this into an actual show? The original Pokemon anime solved this problem pretty well. Go back and watch the Kanto series. It's just a comedy.
All right, Magikarp, let's escape!
This is a stupid world full of silly people. Everyone gets hurt all the time. Ash gets electrocuted. Someone always gets bonked. Team Rocket fucking dies. Like half the time, this is just some Looney Tunes shit. Pokemon fights themselves are lighthearted, energetic, and limited in animation. If Pikachu gets clobbered, it's illustrated with a bunch of lines moving. Impact frames sell the connection, but we rarely see it. It's a very good way of displaying cartoon violence with what is essentially animals. It really works, and it is really recommended to not stray away from that, because otherwise... Man, I remember when there was this whole hullabaloo when Detective Pikachu was first announced. The question going around was, why Detective Pikachu? There were rumors of a supposed live-action red and blue film, which I must admit sounds pretty cool. Maybe not a literal red and blue story. We had that in Pokemon Origins and it was just boring as sin. But my point here is that the fans wanted a live-action movie focused on a trainer. Probably not Ash, but somebody doing trainery things. It's a cool idea. It is so cool that it's something the Pokemon Company will literally never do. I'm sorry. For one, Pokemon is a brand. A very well-protected brand, and this is a brand that is very careful about how Pokemon are utilized. If anything outside of the anime is made, it's stuff like Pokemon Concierge, where all the plushies sit around to look cute and marketable. Now, imagine pitching the Pokemon Company this movie idea. Let's have a live-action movie where the plot is just all these CGI creatures fighting each other. How do you do this without things becoming unsettling? Well, here's what you do. Nothing. There is no way to do a live-action Pokemon movie where they're just constantly fighting each other, at least within the constraints of the Pokemon brand. Sadly, my 11-year-old dream of Bayformers Pokemon will never happen. Rest in peace. If they were ever gonna do a live-action Pokemon movie, it was always gonna be a story which had as little Pokemon fighting as possible. Which is why we got Detective Pikachu.
Well, there's no such thing as daddy issues without daddy.
Now, I really don't know if this was truly the rationale. I am a YouTuber just talking out of my ass. But at the same time, in my defense, it is impossible finding anyone's real thoughts on the creative process behind this movie. The writers are clearly terrified in all of the interviews, like Nintendo has a sniper prone and ready. Yeah, I'm sure working with Nintendo was just all sunshine and daisies.
Do you feel in charge?
The best peek behind the curtain we even get is in the Art of Making Detective Pikachu book, where CEO of the Pokemon Company, Tsunekazu Ishihara, gave his thoughts on the movie's development. From what it sounds like, some executives at Legendary were really stupid. Like they wanted to have a movie where a kid has superpowers and teams up with Pokemon. Oh my god. Maybe sometimes having the Nintendo Sniper is good, I take it back. Ishihara wanted a far more down-to-earth story. Something like Stand By Me, his words. Which I think is just the most boring idea, and I'm glad they didn't do that either. What it seems like is one, Hollywood nor Pokemon themselves were interested in a movie about the thing we all like Pokemon for. And two, the idea they ended up with was kind of a compromise that suited both. And the way they did that was by breaking out an old idea that Game Freak themselves had developed early in the franchise's history. The one where Pikachu wears a hat, and he solves mysteries. That winter weather sure is coming down hard. Luckily, I know what will get you to work in those icy conditions. A tank. Hi, I'm dealership owner Billy SCC. Is your midsize sedan not gonna cut it? Well, why not stop on by the sponsor of today's video, War Thunder. Down at War Thunder, they have over 2,500 vehicles to choose from. It's the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, available for free on PC, consoles, and even mobile devices. Of course, they got everything. They got planes, they got tanks, they even got ships. Unload those guns on an unsuspecting enemy vessel like a man. This is as immersive as it gets. No simple boxes with hit points here. Where you hit matters. If a part blows off, it'll react like it. You can even see where you hit it with X-ray view. Join the worldwide sensation with over 95 million players in grand PvP battles. You can even play it on your phone now. And you know what? I got a special offer just for you. Use my links in the pinned comment or video description to sign up. New players and those who haven't played in 6 months will receive a massive bonus pack on PC or consoles that includes multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account. Available for a limited time only. So why not stop on by at War Thunder? Oh lordy, the South ain't built for this weather. Detective Pikachu the movie has the same plot as the game, but they differ in some key ways. For one, Pikachu is Deadpool. In the game, Pikachu is your stereotypical noir detective. He's gruff, hard-headed, and is really addicted to coffee.
It has the best aroma, as well as pleasant acidity, along with the bitterness and balanced body.
Okay, dude, nobody likes coffee that much. Calm down. He's Bob Hoskins in Roger Rabbit. That deeper voice was so ingrained in the character that when this movie was first announced, everyone fan-casted Danny DeVito as the titular Detective Pikachu.
I am not a human being! I am an animal!
Then we got Ryan Reynolds.
Harry faked his own death. Or somebody else faked Harry's death. Or
This movie kind of lives or dies based on your opinion of Ryan Reynolds' whole shtick. Back in the 2010s, Deadpool was relatively fresh to the general audience. Ryan Reynolds kind of reinvented himself around that, and he didn't change. He is the smart-ass funny guy your parents really like. Or someone's parents really like. Who the hell is watching this? Before K-pop Demon Hunters hit like an asteroid, you know what the most watched movie on Netflix was? Red Notice. Do you know anyone who has watched Red Notice?
Serious question though, you guys have any sunblock?
Now, if you couldn't really tell, I'm not the biggest Ryan Reynolds fan. Free Guy was made for that coworker who shows you a full YouTube video on his phone and expects you to laugh at every joke. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I would prefer it if he didn't suck the soul out of Rob Mac, but hey, what can you do? It makes sense from a money standpoint why they went with Ryan Reynolds for Pikachu.
We're forced to listen to this spa music so your head doesn't explode and kill us all.
Detective Pikachu was really a reintroduction for the general public to the Pokemon franchise. This was a creative decision meant for the broadest appeal imaginable that would jumpstart the series, in theory. Now, with all that said and me sounding like a pessimistic asshole, I think Ryan Reynolds works. Funnily enough, I think Pikachu is one of Ryan Reynolds' best roles ever. Granted, it's not a high bar. On rewatch, I was shocked just how much I still liked this snarky little guy.
I'll walk. I'm trying to get in 100,000 steps this hour.
There is a charm seeing this incredibly cute Pikachu model just saying the most utterly bizarre things.
I just invited someone to my apartment. I never do this. I'm not that kind of Pokemon.
I do not remember him saying that. Him and Tim Goodman's whole back and forth carries the movie. Pikachu being a sarcastic asshole, and Tim being the anchor. More like Tim Straight Man. I like Tim. Tim Goodman is just downright depressed.
If you were anything like your dad.
I'm not.
This is a guy that lost his last parent, even one he wasn't that attached to since he never really had a relationship with his dad. He wanted to be a Pokemon trainer, but then his mom died of fucking cancer. Oh my god. At the start, he just wants to settle his dad's will and get out of there. But maybe, with his new friend Pikachu, he can learn that even though his life kind of sucked, Pokemon. There's a little bit of heart to Detective Pikachu. The main duo works. I like him.
Are you gonna make me into a lampshade? Oh, I might.
Turns out you can have a Pokemon movie with just characters doing their thing and not that much fighting. The characters are kind of compelling. The mystery is not. His dad is Pikachu. Spoilers. Is that even a spoiler? Is that meant to be a revelation? In both the game and the movie, Tim is trying to find his missing dad, and just so happens to team up with a Pikachu that sounds exactly like his father. Oh man, where'd my dad go? I don't know, maybe he's now the fat yellow rat. Like at the end of this movie, Tim's dad gets his body back. And he was just Ryan Reynolds the entire time. His voice didn't even change or anything. How did Tim never make that connection?
That's just lazy writing.
Aw man, what a real caper. He can talk to a Pikachu that nobody else can understand, that used to belong to his dad, that sounds exactly like his dad, and he just doesn't work through it. Connect the dots, man. Oh my god. I don't know, film theory, maybe Pikachu just sounds different in his head. Like only we, the audience, can hear the real Ryan Reynolds and he hears something else. Who knows? That's the only explanation I have for this. Maybe it's a don't think about it sort of thing, like the Pope-mobile in Cars 2. Imagine if they gave him the Ryan Reynolds voice, and then at the very end it turned out his dad was Danny DeVito the whole time. That would have rocked. I should have wrote this movie.
Case closed. but still open until I solve it.
The dynamic between these two is the core of the movie, and arguably, it's the best part. Everything else is, well, it's something.
I walk the walk and I talk the talk, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get the honest scoop, and that's the hard truth.
Okay, I've stalled enough. Time to talk about the mama swine in the room. How about them character designs? This will be Pokemon in 2013. No! Growing up in the early 2010s, there was this deviant art that interpreted Pokemon in realistic ways, giving all these anime cartoon features some flesh and bone. What if Pokemon were real? How would that look? Most of the time horrifying. That exact guy, RJ Palmer, ended up as the core creature designer on Detective Pikachu. The similarities are not a coincidence. So when trying to translate Pokemon into the real world, there are so many hurdles that have to be jumped. Like, is having a live-action Pokemon movie even a good idea? Well, they're doing it, so might as well try. You could, I guess, go the Roger Rabbit, or more recently Tom and Jerry route, and have just straight-up cartoon characters in the real world. They have all those 3D models, they literally never change. Just import those and pretend it's a stylistic choice. I don't know. As interesting as that probably would be, that would never work for the general audience. Gen Xers and Boomers would never suspend their disbelief. They would wonder why these creatures look like this the entire time. It was really best to just have real physical creatures in this live-action world, which means that somehow these designs have to now be translated into physical features, which is how we got RJ Palmer. Taste is truly subjective, but I think a lot of the designs were translated pretty well.
Extra shot, black as night, thank you, sweetie.
Some absolutely weren't, like, oh my god, why does Gengar look like that? But for the most part, I get what they were trying to do. The designs are intentionally monstrous. These are pocket monsters, after all. So there's just something unavoidably uncanny about seeing these guys in real life. Lickitung would be the most hated creature on Earth if it truly existed. Every single one would be put on a registry. Mr. Mime is somehow both uglier and more appealing than he is in the anime.
You're pouring gasoline. That went dark fast.
I think it's because he's actually a mime in the movie, and he's not just a short man that says his name. Mime! Mewtwo looks freaky. Oh. But also, that's the point. Good job. There's this novelty to seeing Pokemon in a real physical space. Gyarados is a giant fish, in a way, so it has a bit of that fish slime. Arcanine just looks majestic with all that fur. Greninjas are incredibly froggish, like their hands are sticky. Golurk is a Pokemon I rarely care about, but something about it here in just this one shot is so crazy to me. In the anime, Bulbasaur is very headstrong, and while that's cute in itself, it was never really my favorite as a kid. That was always Squirtle. But in this movie, I just love them. For the first time you realize, oh yeah, Bulbasaur is a baby. Look at them waddle, it's adorable. But the most adorable character in the entire movie is Pikachu himself. Which, yeah, duh, the movie wouldn't work if Pikachu wasn't programmed in a lab to be as cute as possible. But what's great about this design is how for the first time in years, Pikachu is actually fat again. I hate skinny Pikachu. Somehow he just keeps getting skinnier too. Stop it. What made Pikachu become such an international icon in the first place is that it's just a fat yellow rat. Look at that thing. Don't you just want to purchase it in plush form? Luckily, the movie knew how weird skinny Pikachu would have looked, so we got that fat mouse again, and he looks great. I like how Charizard looks too. Very intimidating. Every step he takes has weight. It even has a scar. Wait a second. In the world of this movie, Pokemon can have scars?
Well, that Pikachu Thunderbolt almost wrecked my prized Charizard.
The scar's still fresh.
Okay, so this Charizard got shocked in the past, at least a couple of weeks before this scene, and it still has the scar to prove it. That is not how Pokemon damage works. At least in the games or anime. The manga's a different story. My point is that in this movie, this Charizard got physically and permanently hurt. Which brings up one revelation. In this Detective Pikachu world, Pokemon attacks have consequences.
No!
Is that why Pokemon fighting is banned in Rhyme City? Is it actually like a bad thing? Oh my god. We really don't know much about this specific world of Pokemon outside of the city. We see Tim's small hometown of Morrilton, but other than that, who's to say what's going on out there? All we know about is the lore of Rhyme City, a city apparently founded by a single guy, Howard Clifford, a man who is, I might say, still alive. Somehow the city grew to the size of New York within a human lifetime. Okay, Dubai. Rhyme City has something that makes it special though, and it's not enslaving laborers from Bangladesh. Apparently Rhyme City is the only place on Earth where humans and Pokemon coexist. Which is kind of weird to think about, isn't it? Like in the games and anime, this isn't special. Coexistence is just the norm. There's a Chansey in the Pokemon Center. I don't know, maybe this is a Lumio City situation where there's wild Pokemon just everywhere. But even then, that city had specific zones for wild Pokemon. Here, wild Pokemon are just in the streets. Really, you could say Rhyme City's biggest selling point is that it has an animal control problem. Come to New York City, where humans and rats coexist in peace. Because this movie's job was reintroducing Pokemon to your Aunt Susan, it tried its best at the start to sneak in some exposition about what Pokemon even are. Tim watches this introduction to Rhyme City video, which just lore dumps information that in his world should just be common knowledge.
And training to use their unique powers for the common good.
Like since the beginning of time, there have been these things called Pokemon, and we battle them. Imagine going into Chicago and you're given a lore dump about how thousands of years ago we domesticated these creatures called cows, and then one burned down the city. Anyway, Davy Jones built this whole city in a couple decades and decided to outlaw all Pokemon battles. Why are Pokemon battles banned? This implies that they are a bad thing. Something kind of antithetical to the entire mantra of the Pokemon franchise. Like, oh yeah, Pokemon enjoy it. They don't even feel it that much. I don't know, I think that guy felt it. Can Pokemon even heal up like they do in the games? Is there a super potion Tim could have used when Pikachu got hit by that small-ass rock? Or would a Geodude have caved in his little chest? I know I sound insane for this, and I know it's just because it made the story interesting, but oh my, the implications here. We never see a Pokemon actually get knocked out in the entire movie, so we never find out what actually losing a battle looks like. All we know is that battling is banned, and you might not want to lose. Is this set in the world of Pokemon Apocalypse? It just might be. So yeah, Rhyme City is the center of our movie. The plot is essentially our two leads, one new to the city, one not, trying to find a missing person, and uncovering a deeper plot where many of the city's residents are going insane due to a mysterious purple substance, and by the end it turns out the real villain is actually the guy you thought was good the entire time. Oh my god, this is just Zootopia. Yeah, Detective Pikachu and Zootopia have the exact same premise. A special city where everyone coexists gets threatened by this poison that makes creatures go insane, and it's up to our two detectives to stop it. It's not like one copied the other either. Even though the game officially came out in 2018, the first couple missions were released exclusively in Japan in 2016. One of which featured a Pokemon going on a rampage from a mysterious substance. So the seeds for this plot were planted a month before Zootopia even released. Which brings up the question, where is Shakira in Detective Pikachu? Can you tell me that, Kojima? While there is no pop star sensation in our Pokemon world, there is Bill Nighy. Detective Pikachu and Zootopia share a lot in common. And it wouldn't be like Zootopia without a twist villain that came out of nowhere. Turns out the nice old man, the founder of this city, was actually the bad guy the entire time. He wanted to meld his brain with Mewtwo. And not only that, he wants to turn everyone into Pokemon. Which brings up the question, why? Why would you want to do that? He says it's to have everyone reach their evolutionary potential.
Pokemon can evolve into better versions of themselves. And now, So can you!
Which, like, sure, you're getting turned into Mewtwo, I get it, but most people are not getting turned into Mewtwo. They're getting turned into Psyduck. What benefit is it to you, Bill Nighy, if Ken Watanabe gets turned into a Snubbull? Just become Mewtwo, dude, who cares? You're rich. Imagine if Jeff Bezos transferred his mind into a horrifying homunculus that used spice to navigate through space and time. Amazon stock wouldn't even dip. Pokemon is the biggest franchise in the world, and yet this movie didn't even get a sequel. That's odd, right? Like, I'm not saying it deserved a sequel, there wasn't anything here that made me crave another, I'm just more perplexed than anything. The way Hollywood has worked for the last 20 years has trained me to expect some inevitable sequel when a movie like this comes out. Maybe not even a sequel, just another live-action movie. I figured they were gonna start pumping these things out, yet they never did. It's not a bad thing, it's just weird. Detective Pikachu didn't flop. It didn't have that many bad reviews. The only thing we know is that the movie didn't perform to expectations. It grossed $433 million with a budget of $150. So it made its money back, but just not Avatar money back. It was the second highest grossing video game movie ever at the time. In my opinion, that's not too bad for a movie based on a spin-off game that came out the year prior. But for the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, that was not good enough. Which to me is just kind of infuriating. Like, what were you guys expecting? Detective Pikachu didn't meet expectations. For one, because it was released only 2 weeks after Avengers Endgame. Why did you do that? And two, even if people did care about Pokemon, they might not care about this version of Pokemon. It's kind of ironic. Detective Pikachu was created as the most marketable version of the series, telling a story that didn't revolve around Pokemon battles. But that's what people care about. Maybe that fabled Red and Blue movie would have done gangbusters. Maybe that Bayformers version would have worked. For another series, this would have greenlit a sequel, and maybe even another. But when you're the biggest franchise in the world, $400 million is just not enough for a potential brand risk.
It's that stuff that I put up my nose. Not like that.
You see, I also have another theory. I can't really back it up with, like, a lot of evidence. This is more just vibes. But stick with me. Brands only take risks when they are in a slump. Movies take a while to develop, and Detective Pikachu as a movie clearly had multiple years in the cooker. The movie was announced in July 2016, which means that it was being planned even earlier. It was something the company was clearly excited about. A new step for the franchise, trying to get people back into it who had been away since they were kids. And that's just kind of funny, because something else happened in summer of 2016 as well. Kind of made all of that irrelevant.
Pokemon Go!
Pokemon Go was a phenomenon. It was really Pokemania 2.0, this time with adults. When I was in college, the entire campus was obsessed with catching Pokemon for weeks. It was something else. The closest we ever got to world peace. While Pokemon Go was a success, for mainline games at the time, sales were down. Even though the Pokemon series did have some greats on DS and 3DS, the series wasn't as big as it had been. I mean, while they were developing the Detective Pikachu movie, the latest games were stuff like Ultra Sun and Moon, Black and White 2. I could imagine Pokemon was very scared of the future. Then the Switch came out. The Switch was very popular, and whatever mainline Pokemon game came out on it was gonna be popular too. And man were they. By the time the movie actually came out in 2019, all of the concerns Pokemon really had been solved. You didn't really need a movie to get those millennials back into Pokemon when they were doing this. So when the movie did come out and it didn't perform the best, they just called it quits. Any new movie is simply a risk to the brand.
And secondly, get me the hell out of here!
Detective Pikachu as a movie was created, in part, out of fear for the future. So will we ever get another live-action movie? Probably, yeah. Nothing is stable forever. It's not like the Pokemon brand is in the best spot right now. While the Switch did have its heyday, who's to say what the future brings? Maybe Pokemon will look at what's happening with Mario and other video game properties, want to give it another shot. Crisis breeds creativity. for the most part. So hey, you know, Pokemon, if you're watching this, here's a little tip. If you're gonna have another live-action movie, maybe have more than like 30 Pokemon. Oh my god. I get there was a budget on this thing, but did they have to reuse the same dozen or so models to populate the entire world? What was up with that? I haven't seen so many Sneasels in my life.
What are you doing? I can't do it when people are watching.
Once again, special thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Go out and fly a tank, or plane, or a ship. Go do it now. If you don't, I'm gonna use the X-ray vision to look into your house.
Legend